What if there was one word, understanding of which I believe can completely change your life? Now, it can change to negative as well as to positive, depending on how you use this word. This is not something like motivation or belief or just do it. It's more like a scientific word which has been studied by scientists. Now, I have to warn that this video is not about the word itself in particular, but more about the idea and the concept, also about the experiment done about this word or about this idea. So let's start. So in this video, I'm going to talk about an experiment done by Nicholas Tinbergen and by his associates probably. And basically what they did was they have replaced normal, let's say, stuff or food or babies of animals with something more exaggerated, more appealing, or more attractive. For example, they created a greatly exaggerated dummies which the animals would choose instead of realistic alternative. And one of them was they have replaced songbird chicks or kids, and then when songbird came to the nest, the parent would prefer to feed fake baby birds with mouths wider and redder than the real chicks. So this means that when the parent came, she basically decided to feed the fake dummy bird which had bigger mouth and which had redder, let's say, patterns in her mouth, but she wasn't real. Another example could be they have constructed cardboard dummy butterflies with more defined markings that male butterflies would try to mate with in preference to real females. The results were shocking. Tinbergen created SuperStimuli to study the behaviors of animals with his students, but there were already creatures actively building supernormal stimuli for themselves: human beings. We as human beings, we have absolutely no limits. We have junk food, pornography, we have video games that give us unrealistic achievements and rewards, and at the same time we have social media that triggers our attention every time notification bumps up in our phone. Here are some examples of human superstimuli and why they are superstimuli in the first place. Our ancestors would usually eat food which is more or less plain in taste and doesn't really have artificial flavors which create unrealistic tastes. Junk food is much tastier, fatter, and sweeter than anything we ever had in our history. That is a superstimuli. TV shows that feature unrealistic lives of so-called stars that are clearly staged have been designed to capture our attention for as long as possible. Another example is pornography. Adult videos and dirty websites are just one click away from us, and we can always get access to them and indulge in this type of fun activities. But the downsides of this type of things are quite big. You see, here's the problem. When you have a stimuli which is normal, like the food that our ancestors ate, or let's say human-to-human interactions which are quite natural to us, these are normal things that we used to do before and normal things that we shall be doing right now. You know, our technology has evolved, our smartphones and all of these things have evolved, but our mind didn't really evolve. It didn't have time for evolution. So nowadays, when we do some extraordinary stuff for our mind, which is video games and pornography and something like this, our mind doesn't really differentiate the reality from what is not real. Just as I've talked before, animals cannot differentiate it, and we probably cannot differentiate it subconsciously. But what differentiates us from animals is, I suppose, a conscious ability to choose whatever you want to see, do, indulge in, and this gives us power. And the problem with superstimuli is that why bother doing some activities that give us this type of dopamine release when we can get easily this type of dopamine release by just watching a video or playing a game and becoming whoever hero you want to be there. Why bother talking to girls when you can release way bigger portions of dopamine just by watching some videos on the internet? And the best part of it, you don't even have to make an effort to get it, not a tiny bit. When it comes to social media, there's a phrase that perfectly demonstrates how I feel about it. Highlight reels. What we see on social media is oftentimes unrealistic. People make color correction, people make Photoshop edits, or sometimes people just fake themselves to be more appealing to the masses, to the people. However, your brain doesn't understand that and thinks that the person is always living such type of cool life and cannot differentiate what's real and what's fake. Remember, the word is stimulus. This is normal. SuperStimulus is not normal. It's an overdose. The conclusion. Am I saying that all SuperStimuli activities are bad for you? No. However, I'm pretty sure that a lot of you, maybe me, we probably are trapped in some type of SuperStimuli activities. Speaking of me, sometimes I can get easily distracted by certain things like TV shows and movies, and it kind of plummets the quality of my life. Here are my solutions. Solution number 1. Try to be aware every time what is a stimulus activity and what is superstimulus. And when you know which one is which, do not indulge in superstimulus activities for too long and make them habitual. If you make them something of a habit, you probably will be trapped inside and your dopamine levels will rise really high. It's gonna be really difficult for you to focus on simple stuff like studying or reading a book or simply just talking to other people in your life. Solution number 2, do a dopamine detox. Now I have probably done a couple of dopamine detox in my life so far, and honestly it wasn't easy, but it was quite good. Now actually I am also on dopamine detox myself, but we're gonna talk about that in the next upcoming episodes. If you've enjoyed this video so far, hit the thumbs up and comment down below what you want to see next. And also make sure to subscribe to this channel. It was a pleasure talking to you. I hope you found this video interesting and maybe even beneficial or useful. I will talk to you in the next video. Be Kaiser, signing out.